The Life of Chuck, the new film from Mike Flanagan, who you may know from Doctor Sleep or Midnight Mass or The Haunting of Hill House. Many things, many highly critically acclaimed things and audience acclaimed. Based on a novelette, short story, based on something written by Stephen King, but not in the Stephen King mode that you would normally expect. The Life of Chuck. Now, I never, I'm not going to tell you the whole story. I generally really don't like to get into spoilers. I like films to be, to work on their own terms for people and to be a surprise. So I'll give you vague terms as to what this film is about. It is structured in 3 acts. Those 3 acts are told in reverse. The first act is kind of like a Twilight Zone episode. And if you just made it its own thing and maybe tacked a little bit more onto it, would be a pretty successful Twilight Zone episode. It doesn't make sense at first when you watch it in relation to what follows it or precedes it chronologically. In the end, it all does make sense. It is overtly a story, title doesn't lie, about the life of Chuck. Who is Chuck? Chuck is a normal, some might even say boring guy. He's an accountant, seemingly very nice guy, portrayed by Tom Hiddleston in his adult years, but we see the life of Chuck. So we see several actors portraying him as a little boy and a slightly older little boy and as a late teenager. And we see all the people that Chuck interacts with in his life and how he is an orphan living with his grandparents, portrayed by Mark Hamill and Mia Sara. Great to see Mia Sara in something major again. And how he learns about life and joy despite sorrow and other things, with a slight, vaguely supernatural twist tossed in there, and how he grows into the adult that he becomes. So overall, it's a very simple story. It's a very human story. It's you hear Stephen King and you think it's going to be weird, and that first act feels like a Stephen King story. And there is an element that runs throughout the film that really kind of culminates in the end of the film, or the end of the second act as it's structured, or the end of the first act, I should say, as it's structured. This film's non-linear. It's in 3 chunks. Each of those chunks is linear, but they're told. Anyway, forget that. Just watch the movie. It's quite good. It's really a story about embracing life, embracing the small joys in life and the moments that life gives you of joy along the way. And nobody has as much time as they think they do. It's a movie about people. It's the kind of movie I embrace more and more often now, because it's not a movie exclusively for grown-ups. I don't think a lot of kids would get a lot out of this, because it's just a story about people and there's nothing fantastical about it. Really not. Overall, there are fantastical elements, but which honestly I think they could have left out and still would have been fine. But it's a story about people. It's the kind of thing that I appreciate more and more now when, I'm literally sitting in the parking lot going to a movie, and you are hard pressed as an adult who doesn't want to watch an action movie or a franchise movie or a superhero movie or a kid's film to find a movie that's just a straight ahead film about grown-ups. So Life of Chuck is that, and it gives you that. Performances are solid all the way through. There's a lot of people in this film. I'm going to forget most of them. Karen Gillan from Doctor Who and now many other things is in it. I'm going to mangle his name. Cheetawheel Ejiofor, probably wrong, but he's great. He's in it. David Dashelman is in it. You'll recognize a lot of faces in this film because Mike Flanagan is such a attractive person to work with these days for his writing and directorial style and success. And it's a very simple film. It takes place in one small town. Looks like it's maybe North Carolina. I'm not quite sure. And it's just about people and how they interact and how they bring joy to each other. And my God, can we use that? So I thought this was decent. I thought it was fun. Like I say, it has a supernatural element to it. Don't let that throw you, because it's a very small element that just kind of comes back every once in a while. But mostly it's just about this one individual and how he is the sum of all the people he comes in contact with, and how all of those people who he comes in contact with live on in his life and his mind until the very end. Is it a crying movie? Kinda, but it's a kind of happy movie too. There's sadness in the movie, absolutely, but I feel like throughout the film, every time there's a moment of sadness, there's a moment of joy attached to that. Or there's a moment of joy that can be seen through the sadness. So you can see the light in the darkness, basically. So this is a good movie. This is a movie that's going to get lost amongst all the franchise films and all the loud films that are taking up all the premium formats and all that. But it is a decent movie for grown-ups, for older folks. It's a film you could take your parents to see. It's a film you really could take your kids to see. I really don't recall much in the way of anything offensive. Maybe a little bit of profanity in the film, maybe. But otherwise, it's just a decent film. So in theaters now, for the time being, forevermore after that on the video delivery format of your choice, the delivery conveyance of your choice, Mike Flanagan and Stephen King's Life of Chuck.